Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee at 7 p.m. Members of my committee, Councilor Blair and Councilor Waterman. And we are, Peter Fellini is going to come up and speak for the planning board.
Thank you, sir.
Name and address. And
yes, thanks for hearing me tonight. My name is Peter Fellini. I've been a resident here of Attleboro for over 30 years. I live at 5 Cathedral Drive, right off Thurbers Ave. I'm here applying to be part of the planning board. Some of the skills that I possess are analytical, I'm process-driven. I'm a cybersecurity engineer, and in my field, everything's got to be process, and you've got to be analytical about it. Those are some of the some of the things that I'm about. I've been in the IT industry for 30, 40 years, and I've crossed over into the IT cybersecurity field. My main job is really to ensure that companies don't get on the front page of the Boston Globe. And why I'm interested in this position, I've been a resident of Attleboro for over 30 years. I've seen a lot of new developments within the city limits, and I believe that it's time for me to give back to Attleboro. You know, you guys have taken care of my son all the way up through high school, and with youth sports and everything, so I believe that it's my turn to give back to Attleboro. I believe that this would be a great way for me to give back to Attleboro and help Attleboro develop into the best city that it can possibly be. Then one of the issues, what's one of the issues in front of us? It isn't just one issue that's in front of the committee. It's a process that I'm passionate about, and being a process-driven person, I want to learn the process. I want to be part of the process that ushers in a new development and pushes Attleboro to the next stage in its being the best city that it can be. We are a gateway city to Massachusetts. Everybody that's coming up 95 has to pass through Attleboro. And being that gateway city, I just want us to be the best that we can be. And I feel that being on the planning board, I can assist in doing that.
So, Peter, so thanks for coming in, appreciate it, and thanks, because this is, obviously, it's really important to get volunteers and to help out and everything. How did this get presented to you, or was it something that you approached the city, or?
No, the previous mayor approached me on it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, okay.
You know, he sent me an email saying, he actually, it was Gary and I that he included on it, okay, saying that I think Pete will be a great asset to the planning board.
All right, so. All right. Councilor Blair.
Just to get that straight, you were approached by our previous mayor,
Correct.
Mr. Hero?
Yes.
Okay. What's your thought on building in this town, in this city?
I think it's great. I look at what's going on over here.
I don't
with the
mean
apartments.
I mean
Development.
residential development.
If we have the open space, the space that's allotted for it, I think it's a great idea. It can bring in new people into the city, different ideas. You know, it's going to grow the city. You know, we're right here on the T line.
I know I've been here for 80 years, so I know how this town has grown, believe me, and gone downhill, you know, with industry moving out and,
right,
and
right.
the rest of it.
Well, with industry moving out, you've got to bring in some type of income.
Okay. So you're not verbally against residential construction, subdivisions?
No. If they're planned out, you know, I live in Cathedral Drive, Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I remember
And that was, for me, that was a new development.
Yeah, it was.
when I
I
just-
remember when it was wood, so.
Yeah. My next door neighbor, the gentleman right across the street, he remembers hunting in that area.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's a great development.
But it's an important thing to me because I believe in property owners' rights. I've always stressed that. As long as the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and they don't break any laws, they should be able to sell, do
Right.
whatever they want as far as residential development.
Yeah.
All right,
I
it's just
agree.
a question. It's not you. I ask every single person that comes up from the planning board that very same question.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Councilor Conti?
Peter, could you illustrate your real estate experience?
My Actually, my real estate experience is very limited. I lived in Pawtucket. My wife and I bought our first condominium in Pawtucket. It was brand new development, and we sold that and moved to Attleboro. And I've put on additions to my house and just property maintenance.
When you put on additions to your house, did you file a site plan?
Absolutely.
And how was that process?
Actually, the developer did it. So.
Thank you.
Councilor Waterman, you have any questions?
I was hoping you could elaborate a little bit more on how you would, because we're all in agreement that growth is happening.
Yes.
It's inevitable, right? So how do we handle that growth in the best possible way to retain the features of the city that we want to retain and yet have the growth we want?
Well, I think that you want to retain certain features of the city. We've got to define those features that we're looking to retain first. So I think once we define those features that we're looking to retain, how can new development enhance those features? And really, that's something that's got to be planned out.
But what is important to you to retain?
What's important for me to retain? The livelihood of the city. I don't want to see Capering Park go away.
Okay.
You know, I think that's an asset that my son, since he was 2 years old, we've gone to Capering Park. That's something that he grew up with, and I think it's a key feature of this city.
Thank you.
Councilor Dolan?
Thank you. Thank you for volunteering to do this. As other councils have stated, this is a really important board. And it's a good thing that you're a process guy, because that's basically what it is. You know, you have to make sure that all the developers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and, you know, sometimes they'll come to the planning board for guidance or whatever, sometimes things will change. So being a process guy, I think, will be extremely helpful. And, I mean, I think these people work really hard, and I think that it's all in the details, and it's all in just keeping up with what's going on and what's being built and how they're going about being built. So I appreciate you volunteering, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Councilor Delcio?
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming out. I think, you know, one thing, and I don't want to belabor the point, one thing that I think you'll learn is there's a lot of on-the-job learning. And there'll be a lot of people there that you can take that lead from. Gary's just a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate you putting your hat in. This is a really important position. And if you look at a lot of our neighboring communities, they tend to be elected positions, just to tell you how important it is. So I know there was a lot of questions today about how'd you handle this, how'd you handle that. I think it's a little unfair because you haven't been there, but I think there's a lot of learning that you'll be able to do on the job. I think your background is going to bring a unique perspective, and I'm excited to support this. So thank you for
I look forward to
putting
it.
your
Thank
hat.
you.
Yeah, thank you for putting your hat in the ring.
Thank you.
Councilor President?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Bennett?
Thank you, and thanks for coming tonight and offering your services to the city. aside from just wanting to give back to the city, how is you became interested in this particular position?
Well, as I stated earlier, the mayor, the previous mayor, came forward to me and emailed Gary, and, hey, Gary, Pete might be interested in this position and stuff. And because I've talked to the previous mayor about different processes that are going on in the city and different developments that are going on in the city. And I just really wanted to understand, how is it that a development goes from conception to houses being put in and kids going to school? So that's what I was questioning him on. So,
If I could, one additional follow-on question. Have you had much time to, as part of that sort of learning process and learning about how we do development in the city and how those projects come to be, have you spent much time with the city regulations and the planning board regulations to kind of see what that process looks like?
I haven't. Gary, when I was interviewing with Gary, he's like, Pete, these are the 4 books that you're going to have to learn. And I'm like, where can I get those now?
Understood.
So I'm a reader, you know, so.
All right.
Thank
well,
you.
Great. Well, thanks, Peter. Appreciate you coming up, and you'll be hearing from us soon.
Thank you. I look forward to hearing
All
from you
right.
positive.
All right. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Let me grab that back from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, from the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Peter Fellini, 5 Cathedral Drive, to the planning board to fill an unexpired term to expire February 2025.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Just heard from Peter. Any additional questions?
I'd like to suggest that we contemplate this in committee, not tonight, and vote it out for next week. I think it's a little rush.
Well, we can't, it would be a council meeting next week, and we'd have to have another meeting, President Delicio?
That's my suggestion as part of your committee.
Through the chair to Councilor Blair, can I ask because this isn't uncommon that we have a candidate come in front of us and then vote it out of committee that night. I think we can vote it out of, it's totally up to the chair and what the committee decides to do.
My only concern is we have an ex-mayor still trying to run this city and pick committee members. Nothing against this gentleman, and I asked that same question. I asked him. I think as long as we've been sitting together, I asked their point of view on development. But I'm a little concerned if that had come down from our current mayor, I wouldn't question it quite as much. But there's definitely a control factor with our ex-mayor still in this city. So I need time to research it.
Sure. Michael, if I may, just in kind. It's important to note, Councilor Blair, that prior to Mayor DeSimone taking office,
Yeah,
when I was acting mayor, I didn't have the authority to send down any sort of name.
I know that.
I think what we should be doing is looking at the merit of this individual. So if you need, and again, it's up to you, Councilor, it's you're the chairperson. I think that as the chair, you'd want to take the input from your fellow committee. It's really how you want to do it, because I certainly understand where you're coming from, Councilor Blair. There's options. You could hold it, call for a special meeting next week, wait for another 2 weeks, and then it's 3 weeks before he gets voted on. Or you could vote it out of committee tonight, give Councilor Blair a week to do the research he wants to do. I mean, it's totally up to you, however you want to do that.
Vice President Kobus.
Regardless, this came down from the Mayor DeSimone's communication, correct? Regardless of who asked him to
That's correct.
run.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I'm not on the committee, but I feel like it's important for me to just say, I'm not entirely satisfied that I understand his reasons for wanting to be here, aside from being asked by someone else to be here. I'm not sure what his interests are, specific to planning in the city. I didn't really get a satisfactory answer to that question. And I'm not certain that for a position as important as the planning board, we understand enough about what he's going to bring to the table for the city in terms of that future development and making sure that it's done right. This is such a critical piece of what we do, and it's as a city, and it's so critical to start thinking ahead to all the really complex projects that we have. And when I look back at some of the projects that have already been developed, we've seen where we've fallen short, and we deal with those issues sometimes for years. And so I think it's really important that whoever lands on this committee, really, this commission, or the planning board rather, really understands the nuances of where the city's been, where the city is going, understands the regulations and the rules and the procedures involved, and understand what's at stake as well. And I'm not entirely satisfied that his reasons for being here were for those reasons I'd be looking for.
Hang on one second, Councilor. Let me just address a couple things. I understand completely where you're coming from, though I don't think you're going to get, I don't know if you're going to get, well, I really would like to vote this out tonight, and then everybody could do their due diligence and make their calls and get their information. And then we can either vote it up or vote it down in council. I don't think we're going to get someone that is just going to be plug and play, that's going to have all this knowledge to do this. The guy is he's process driven, he's a cybersecurity, so I'm pretty sure he's a pretty smart guy. And I'm satisfied that I think he's going to learn this, because I just don't know who you're going to find that's already someone that's already on a planning board that's going to jump in here. And go from there. Councilor Dolan.
Thank you for allowing me to speak again. And I agree with you, and he seems like an intelligent person. And I agree with President Delicio that it's an on-the-job learning. The backgrounds of the folks that are on the planning board, I wish I had them, but I mean, we have one that's an alcohol distributor, we have a lawyer, we have, I can't think of what Heather Whitehead does, but there's a plethora of backgrounds and skills that people bring to the table, and then you have Steph there, you have Gary there. It really is an on-the-job learning process, and I don't know if anybody's come to that planning board already knowing everything and reading those books and studying any type of planning beforehand. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councilor Bennett.
If I could just clarify, not to suggest that everyone should come in with that knowledge, but they certainly should come in wanting to serve on the position and knowing why they want to serve on the position. And really where I think I'm not entirely clear, and maybe I just missed it, but I didn't really get his reasons for wanting to be on the planning board and what it was that he saw as a vision or where he could fill in that gap for the city. And so that's what's hanging me up a little bit. And maybe it's just, it wasn't articulated well tonight, and I'd like to see if we could get that information before we have to vote as a council.
President Delicio? Oh, sorry, I thought you had your hand up now.
Oh, no, just waving to a friend. But
okay.
Since you called on me, I think, so Michael, here's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
I think there is some concern. I think there are additional questions that should be, that we want to have asked. What I would suggest, because we did just have the individual in front of us, and we could have asked them some of the more difficult questions that we wanted to ask. What I would suggest, if anyone has any questions or concerns that we would like further clarification on, we can either send them through Virginia to Mike. Mike can ask the gentleman, or he can ask him to come back again in 2 weeks. But what I would say at this point, and again, your committee, you do whatever it is that you want to do. I would take the lead of Councilor Blair for, I think, different reasons, but ask Mr. Waterman to rescind his second. I would hold it, and because I think there are legitimate concerns, and I think Councilor Bennett brings up some good concerns, and I think one of the things, that he said, which I thought was a little concerning, and we just want to make sure people know there's no chance of development happening at Capron Park. But I think that it warrants further discussion at this point. So however you want to proceed is up to you, but that's what my suggestion would be.
All right, all right, that works for me. So we'll have anybody, I would say, let's get a questions sent to Virginia, and I'll at least get it to him. We'll get that back, and we'll look it over and see if we're satisfied with that, and if we're not, we'll bring them back in and discuss it some more.
You get asked to have that second?
Yeah, Ty?
Councilor
Yeah.
Angela, I'm willing to vote yes if you're comfortable with that and you can still do what you want to do. But if you need more time, then I'll withdraw my second.
Well, I guess I would say at this point, let's withdraw your second, and then we'll just, we'll make it at a 6:45 meeting next Tuesday.
Okay, I will withdraw my second.
All right. All right, so we're all, any other questions, or?
I think you meant in 2 weeks, you would.
2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks, okay. Well,
at the-
we could have a special session next week if we wanted to, or we could just wait 2 weeks.
Just
Why
give it
don't-
to 2 weeks.
Why don't you give, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say,
Okay.
give it the time I asked for,
All right.
please.
I didn't realize you had a time frame, sorry. We good?
Yeah, we're good, Mike.
All right, next, let's see. That's all we have for Personnel, Veterans and Human Services Committee, and a call for adjournment.
Second.
Okay. We are adjourned at,
You got to vote on it, Mike.
oh, sorry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:22.
Okay, the License Committee, I call to order at 7:22. And we have one item of business this evening. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I would entertain a motion to approve the license renewal application from Polarized New England Company LLC, DBA Schnitzer Northeast, located at 136 Bacon Street for a scrap metal recycler junk dealer license.
Second.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you, well, I've been down there, let me say a few words. I went there last week. I had a very good visit. Second time I've been, we did this last year. It's very clean, it's very organized property. My opinion about the business is very solid. And I would recommend that we grant this license. Do I have any questions? Seeing none, then I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none. We are, passes 3-0. I would call for,
Mr. Chairman, before you adjourn,
yes.
may I suggest that at the next committee meeting that we strike the remaining docket that's on your agenda, the correspondence from Mabel Makud?
Okay,
Thank you.
you are welcome. We will do that next time. Did I call for an adjournment? Okay, call for an adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned at 7:24.
Surprisingly, Public Works has no business tonight.
You deserve a break.
However, the Finance Committee is being called to order at 7:24. Two measures to bring before the committee. Sitting on the committee is Councilor Cobus and Councilor Reynolds. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to transfer $11,451.84 from account 1124100-578300 citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 112410005783060 citywide reserve fund for compensation 53rd week, and further transfer $136,451.84 to accounts as follows: $4,929.59 to account 11611000-511000 clerk salary and wages, and $130,522.25 to account 1210100-511000 police salary and wages.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus.
What is this?
This is a motion to transfer $11,451 to cover the 53rd week. The only year that we don't need to do this is when December 31st falls on a Saturday.
Yep.
Other than that, we do this every year. And it's impossible to know and budget for the 53rd week because we don't know who's going to be working in the city when we do the budget, or even when we do the supplemental budget. So it's just a routine, ordinary, normal occurrence. Any questions or comments?
Every year.
Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of May 3rd, 2023, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay the following previous year's school bill. The vendor was Eversource. The amount's $1,414.50. And the reason it's being put up for a late payment is because the business office received the invoice after the year closed.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. This is a gas bill for June, and that's why they didn't get it in time. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. That concludes the business of Finance Committee as of this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I declare the Finance Committee adjourned at 7:27.
I call Ordinances, Elections, and Legislative Matters Committee to order at 7:27. With me this evening is Councilor Conti. So I have a couple of items to bring for a vote this evening, and one item just for discussion. So I'll just get into it. First item for this evening from the docket of February 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve a senior citizen municipal parking fee waiver program to be created by amending section 10-7.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as follows: renumbering existing ordinance and adding B, senior citizen municipal parking fee waiver, subparagraph I, parking in the North Main Street parking lot, Attleboro Library Lot, shall be free for senior citizens who procure a sticker from the Attleboro Public Library and displaying the same on their motor vehicle, provided, however, that the time limit restriction at that particular metered location shall be obeyed. Roman numeral 2, to be eligible to participate in the program, the individual must be at least 65 years old and a current resident of the city of Attleboro. Each person so eligible shall be entitled to one such sticker for motor vehicles registered to them with an Attleboro address. A sticker may also be issued for an automobile owned by an eligible spouse. Roman numeral 3, parking stickers may be placed on passenger vehicles only. No other class of motor vehicle is eligible. And Roman numeral 4, this section shall not take effect until July 1st of 2023.
Second.
Thank you. So I did confirm with our librarian that the library staff will be the ones to hand out these stickers. I know there was some discussion initially about whether that should be the Council on Aging or the library, so it will be the library handing them out. I understand some of the concerns about the limited parking that is available for the library there, and some concerns about difficulty pulling in and navigating sort of the Jersey barriers along that far edge of the back of the library lot. I myself have come close a couple of times, and I know I've still probably got a few years before I'm eligible for this, but I can understand that depth perception may be a little bit challenging, and also that really there is limited parking there, and so by giving some additional spots for our seniors who probably have a little bit more time to be there during the day when commuters and other employees are using those paid lots, is a really good thing, I think. Making sure that there's sufficient parking for the library and that they can get in, spend some time there, and enjoy the resource that we have in the city. Are there any questions? Yes, Councilor Conti.
There's two things. Number one, I'd like for you to uncover, research the dollar volume for the lot parking fees for the last 3 years. Number two, I'd like you to change the wording in the ordinance from Attleboro Library lot to the George, and bless me, I forget his last name because I'm a senior. But I think it's Drecker. He was a corporal that died in World War I. And so let's give him the honor by, it'll stop referring to it as the Attleboro lot, library lot, and refer to who it's dedicated to. And finally, I'll say that I would not have seconded this motion, and I will not support it on the floor. But I'd second it tonight because it's only you and me, and that's just not fair. So the whole council should get a say on this. But after you do your research, I will, I'll like to say again that, I'm not in support of cuts of revenues going into the city coffers. I'm the finance chair, hello. You can't expect me to cut my budget. And seniors are paying 75 cents to park in that lot. I don't think that's onerous. I think this is a politically motivated motion, and it doesn't make financial sense. So I won't be supporting it on the floor, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Would you like to are there any other yes, I'm sorry. Councilor Blair and then Councilor Angela.
Thanks, Kelly. Is this limited to a certain number of spaces over there? And will they be identified?
Right now, there is no limit specified, so that's absolutely something that we can take a look at.
That would be my suggestion. I think the seniors that do use the library, it's a great asset. And, if we could limit some parking closest to the entrance of the library, makes more sense to me. I don't use this particular library. I'm on the other side of town, and to be honest with you, I go to Seekonk. But I think it's important that some spaces near the entrance maybe be secured for seniors. I didn't think so a year and a half ago, but I have trouble walking any distance now. And I appreciate being able to park in Seekonk. And that's one of the reasons I go there. It's a short hop to the front door, so.
Thank you. No, I think, to your point, the marking of the spots and letting them know which spots are eligible.
Yeah.
Right, as it's written right now, it's open, so it could be any spot in that lot.
Yeah, I think we should, in my own opinion, it would be advantageous for the seniors, first of all, to have spaces somewhere near the entrance and to limit it. You don't want to fill that parking lot up during the day and, as Richard said, lose revenue.
Councilor Angela? And
Thank
then
you.
Councilor Conti.
I think I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I just want to make sure the sticker that says the sticker may also be issued for an automobile owned by an eligible spouse being 65 years old.
Yes, and also a resident of Attleboro.
Yep. Okay.
Councilor Conti, did you have a follow-up?
So I want to thank Councilor Blair for his contribution to this, because I think that's very wise to limit the number of parking spaces and put them near the door. That makes sense. Making the entire parking lot free for seniors doesn't make sense to me. But I too have had bouts with my hip and my knees, and now being 70 years old, I certainly qualify for a sticker on my car.
Wait till you're 80, Richard.
I'm getting Social Security checks, Peter. And not happy about it. But limited parking spaces make sense. That's smart.
And close to the building.
Yeah.
I can't say enough for that.
Yeah, that's smart. That is smart. I like that idea. And you turned me around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Waterman, did you have a question? or comment?
Yes, I was one of the co-sponsors with Councilor DeSimone when she was Councilor DeSimone. I like the idea that you are proposing as well, Peter. Thank you. spots that are closer. When I spoke to Amy, our librarian director, she said that there were plenty of spots available, a lot more spots than people realized, but we did not have that discussion about close in.
Well, I think those spots, Ty, if I may, if they're advertised properly, signage-wise, on the lot, that the people that are entitled to park will be better aware of it, where they can park. And they too won't be encroached by somebody that's car's gonna be there all day. So I think there's multiple good points to that suggestion.
I agree with you. On the financial side, a conversation was held with our previous budget director, who at the time felt that this was very minimal loss to the city, and it wouldn't have any impact upon our budget whatsoever. But I didn't get into details, Richard, with him on that, beyond what he said.
Yes, President Zalesio.
Thank you. So I appreciate the conversation. I think more work needs to be done if we're gonna, what's the mechanism to reserve the spots? Through the chair to Council Waterman, I understand what Mr. Stull had said, but if we don't know the number of spots that are gonna be reserved, we can't necessarily figure out what that financial impact's going to be yet. You know, and then I think some of the questions of reserving spaces will raise some other questions, such as if, you know, someone who's not a senior who doesn't have a sticker goes in on a Saturday to that spot and there's no one else there, are they able to park there or not? So I think if we're going to reserve, because I think that makes sense as reserving spots, but I think there's more work that needs to be done before we can just pass this at this point. Just my suggestion.
Are there any other comments or questions? Councilor Conti, would you like to rescind your second, and I will get answers to
I'd be
all
happy
the
to.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't want to give it in the first place.
I appreciate that you did. It was a wonderful discussion. Thank you, everyone, for your input on that. From the docket of January 17th, 2023, I entertain a motion to strike the following new business. That section 7-1.1A of the Municipal Council Rules of Procedure be amended as follows. The council president will refer new business and policy matters to the appropriate committee, and the committee shall provide timely progress reports on all such matters until such time as a final recommendation is made to the council. If after 30 days after a matter was referred to a committee or after a public hearing on the matter has been closed, whichever is later, it may be called for a vote before the full council by 5 members of the council. If after 45 days after a matter was referred to the committee or after a public hearing on the matter has been closed, whichever is later, it may be called for a vote before the full council by 4 members of the council. If after 60 days or more after a matter was referred to a committee or after a public hearing on the matter has been closed, whichever is later, it may be called for a vote before the full council by 3 members of the council.
I second the motion to strike.
Thank you. This came out last committee meeting. I attempted to bring it. We did not get a second on this one. And I'd like to just open up for discussion to the council if there's any comments or questions pertaining to striking this matter. No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next item, this will be the last item for this evening, I'd like to open up for discussion, and just to revisit, we have currently pending in the committee a proposal to establish a sustainability commission. Since this was first brought to the committee, we've since had revised language submitted, and I understand everyone now has a copy of that revised language to review. Looking at the revisions and looking at some of the suggestions that we've gotten back on this so far, I think there's more work to be done to get this right. what I'd like to do is, for anyone who has had an advanced opportunity, in particular, Councilor Conti, if you've had an opportunity to look at this, if you had any comments, feedback, or input, or if there were any questions that might need to be answered before this can really be brought out to the committee for a vote and to the full council for a vote, I'd like to open the floor for that now.
So, Counselor, I read and completely support Building Commissioner Jack Jacoby's memo regarding this subject, and I'm aligned with his opinions that there's a way to do a sustainability commission, and it should be done through a city process. I think the council could talk about how many people need to be on this committee, and I think given what just happened with a candidate for the planning board, that we might want to lay down some criteria for the members of the commission. I don't think I want people on this commission coming out of the blue, not knowing anything about the issues at hand. So I think I would like to see the members of the Sustainability Commission appear before the council. I think they would under the normal process. And the scope of work for this organization looks to be extensive, and that warrants my concerns.
So, Councilor Conti, one of the interesting things in the revised language, and I understand this is sort of just under review now, is the language that membership would be open to Attleboro residents, especially fitted by education, training, and experience to perform the duties of the office. But it's not really detailed more than that. I think that's a standard language. That is standard language. Yeah. Would you like to see something more than that? And if so, what types of things are you looking for?
I'd like us to work on it.
Okay.
I'd like us to work on it.
Are there any other questions or comments?
And let me explain the reason why I'd like us to work on it. Because I think it's failing. I think that standard language is failing. For too many recent votes of both the zoning board and the planning board, I've been very disappointed that they don't seem to know how to say no. So, by changing the standard language and elevating the experience package of its members, I think we might have a better result. And that's why it needs to be discussed.
Are there any other questions or comments from the council at this time, either on the former language that's currently in our minutes or the proposed language that's come out, just for input as we work on revising this? Yes.
Thank you. So I haven't been able to read Jack's issues but his issues are with the second copy, the revision. So I agree with most of the revision, but I didn't, as we got it late, I didn't have the opportunity to review any of Jack's issues and really give them any thought. So I'm really not prepared to talk about this, although the only thing I really have to say is I prefer the revised version over the original version. And obviously that could have amendments as well, but I just think the second one is better than the first one. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Another thing I'd like to see is that whatever version now we get to a final draft, and whether that's expanding some of this or dealing with some of the authority issues that were identified and making sure that the right people are doing the right tasks. I'd like to bring this to the solicitor and make sure we do this right and that we avoid any potential that we're accidentally stepping in something that would be a city function and making sure that those inherently governmental functions remain with the city and some more of the advisory part of this is built into the commission's work. So those were my primary concerns with the original draft, and looking at the current draft, there's still a little bit of that running through it, and I'd like to just take a little bit deeper look to make sure that we address those. Yes, Councilor Conti?
So I think Councilor Dolan's comments contribute to the effort to hold off on getting this rushed through. And I think it's premature to get it to the solicitor until we have an opportunity
Absolutely.
to bang this around a little bit.
Yes.
So, I suggest that we give this an opportunity for the councils to digest this, a period of time for the councils to digest this, and speak to their constituents about it, and then get it to the city solicitor after we've had an opportunity to enhance it.
Okay. Are there any other, oh yes, President Lucia, thank you.
So, first of all, thank you for your diligence on this. I think this is an important commission, something that will certainly help move the city forward. I may recommend that you send the amended version to the solicitor in the interim, just to ensure that it doesn't change the intent of the original, therefore calling for another public hearing. So I'd hate for it to get down the line and see that it changes the, and we've seen that happen in the past. So,
And then we'll have to bring that in as new business and go through that process.
Correct.
Understood.
and that won't prohibit you from working on, doing some additional research and things of that nature. I also, I'll leave it at that for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Yes, Councilor
There's
Conti?
one last thing, and I've already discussed this with the originator of this motion, is that I want to switch under 2.2-21.2, powers and duties. I want to switch item VII with item I. So I want the first
That's the
thing.
old, I think that's the old version.
Okay,
I don't know that that's.
did we already do
in the-
this?
No, but we can.
Okay, so I want,
It might already be out.
This is the old version, so it's, this is, the numbering's off a little bit.
and I'm not happy that evaluating cost-saving practices for renewable energy is out.
So the evaluation, and not to, we don't want to get too deep into that, but evaluating, I think, belongs to the city versus making recommendations, I think would belong more to the, and that's one of my concerns is the language seems to be taking away authority from what would be a city function for our, our department heads to be evaluating and making decisions pertaining to sustainability actions and approving things versus
So-
recommendations.
So on the newer version, I want to switch F with A. Because I want the top priority of the performance of their duties in the Sustainability Commission to evaluate cost-saving practices for renewable energy and waste reduction for municipal, business, and residential sectors. I want that to be the most important power and duty of the commission.
I don't imagine they're in any type of order. of
I don't know that they
importance.
are, but we can certainly look at that. I don't know that these are ranked from most important to least important.
Then I want to change the language so that it becomes the most important. Okay?
Fair enough. Let's take a look at that for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, preliminary questions, anything that anyone on the council has burning their mind from either the original draft or some of the revisions that are being kicked around? Okay. Well, that concludes the business
Thank
this
you,
evening
Chris.
for
You can
ordinances,
keep it.
elections, and legislative matters. I call for an adjournment.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:50. And there is no business this evening for Transportation and Traffic Committee, and request a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Reporting for Zoning and Land Use Committee. I'd like to I'll open up the meeting for any discussion, but there's no motions that I wish to bring out on the floor. So, let me open the meeting at 7:50. Sitting on this is Counselor Cobus and myself. And you all have in front of you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motions. And as I'm looking at them, maybe we can get through the first 3.
My thought
The first two.
the two
The first
public
two.
ways that we had.
Why don't we
public
do
hearing
that?
for.
Since those are housekeeping, let's get through the first 2. From the docket of April 4th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the following street. To lay out a portion of Hillcrest Avenue as a public way, length of 225 feet, from station 1000 to station 1325, and to accept said way and any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all as shown on a plan and profile entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Hillcrest Avenue Extensions, Attleboro, Massachusetts, dated December 15, 2021, and revised through April 25, 2022, prepared by Joyce E. Hastings, RPIS, and Daniel R. Campbell, RPE, which plan and profile have been deemed satisfactory to the Superintendent of Public Works.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. This is routine, and it's good to get it done because it adds to our Chapter 90 funds from the state.
Got it.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of April 14, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the following street. To lay out a portion of Hillcrest Avenue as a public way, length of 125 feet, from station 13 and 25 to station 14 and 50, and accept said way and any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all as shown on a plan and profile entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Hillcrest Avenue Extension 2, Attleboro, Massachusetts, dated December 16, 2021, and revised through April 25th, 2022, prepared by Joyce E. Hastings, RPIS, and Daniel L. Campbell, RPE, which plan and profile have been deemed satisfactory to the Superintendent of Public Works.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. I don't have anything to say about this, other than it's similar to the one we just passed. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. And that, any other discussion for the zoning? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
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 I declare the zoning and land use committee adjourned at 7:53.
IT and infrastructure is canceled for tonight.
I'd like to call City Property and Claims Committee to order at 7:54. And I have several items to tackle this evening. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to declare the following Water Department equipment as surplus and available for disposition. 4 iPads, the model numbers are MD522LL/A, DMPKJ44XF18P. The second one, its model number is MC733LL/A, DMPHQ6HPDNQR. The third one is MD522LL/A, DMPKJ4RLF18P. And the fourth iPad is MP1N2LL/A, DMPTPXL8HLJK, and they are all in poor condition. And one Thermo Scientific Orion It's a dual star PH/ISE, a benchtop meter. The model number is EO3805, and it is also in poor condition.
Second.
Thank you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The most difficult thing to understand are the model numbers. Otherwise, they are iPads and Thermo Scientific Orion. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion is passed. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to declare the following library items as surplus and available for disposition. 2 folding metal coat racks are in fair condition. These next 8 items that I'm going to read out are all inoperable. 21 Dell Optiplex 3010 computer tower units, 3 Dell Optiplex GX520 computer tower units, 3 Dell Optiplex 210L computer tower units, 1 Dell Optiplex 8200 computer tower unit, 2 Dell Optiplex 745 computer tower units, 4 Dell Optiplex 380 computer tower units, 4 Dell Optiplex 360 computer tower units, and 1 Dell Vostro computer tower unit. All, as I said, inoperable. And then there are 9 computer monitors. 5 are 14-inch Dell monitors, 3 are 12-inch Dell monitors, and 1 is a 14-inch HP computer monitor, and they all work intermittently. Then on the next page, we have 1 Gateway 14-inch computer monitor. It also works intermittently. Then there are printers, HP LaserJet P2055D, 3 HP Envies 4500, HP OfficeJet 3830, a Dell B2360DN, and a Dell 1355 CNW. They are all inoperable.
Second.
Thank you. Again, I think these are pretty self-explanatory. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to declare the following Council on Aging item as surplus and available for disposition. It is a Lowry Theater with Genie Edition organ, and it is in very poor condition.
Second.
Thank you. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Any questions or concerns?
No.
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. From the docket of May 2nd, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve expending of funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a municipal energy technical assistance, a MATA grant, from the Mass Department of Energy Resources, DOER, in the amount of $15,000 to the Planning Department.
Second.
Again, I think that this is something that's worthwhile. It's $15,000. There's no matching funds to that. Anyone have any concerns or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. From the docket of April 18th, 2023, I entertain a motion to transfer $30,000 from account 112410000-578 300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1121-1000-530890 City Solicitor. Additional funds are needed for the remainder of FY23 due to an increase in matters that involve litigation.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns? Counselor.
Did you inquire as to what is the cause
I
of that?
actually, I got a letter, hang on a minute, it wasn't, for. I was waiting because I was afraid it was something that I wanted to say no to, but it was questions that we had asked, additional questions that the council had requested answered. Mostly it came, I think, over when we were doing our
Just a
marijuana.
point of order, just make sure that it's if it has to do with litigation, perhaps,
Well,
if it's
it was
open or closed. I just want to make sure that we're careful that's not open litigation.
I don't believe that it was. But you know what? To be on the safe side,
It's been a long time.
it's, yeah, I was holding it, I finally got something, but, just in case it's not really what was for this, and somehow it got confused, do you want to take
Withdraw
back
my
your second?
second?
Withdraw the second, and we'll bring it out in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying, so thank you for that. And then that is all I have at this time.
Counselor?
Oh.
Do you have another one for a postage machine and a folding machine?
No, I was asked to hold that.
Is that for the collector's office?
It just showed up just as I came down, so I know nothing about it other than I was asked to hold it
So you'll
because
find out
they're
where it's going.
where it's going and what's going on. Yeah, that's why that's being held. Okay, so. That is all the business for City Property and Claims Committee. I would like to call for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will be adjourned at 8:01.
There's no business of special committee on classification compensation. Call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Public Safety Emergency Management has no business to bring forward this evening. We call for a committee meeting at next appropriate time.
The special committee for tax abatement review is canceled tonight.
That's it. Have a good night, everyone. Nice work tonight.
Looks like a wrap.